first opportunity that Joe and I had to minister was to the Bajau Tribal Church. They are a fishing tribe that lives in stilted community built out over the ocean. When the tide comes in, they are surrounded completely by water. We had to walk out on a stilted bamboo sidewalk, and during the worship service, we could feel the floor moving under our feet.
So we didn't have very much of anything.
So sila gyud wala good na mga maayong mga butana ginlinitan niya ako, ginlinitan niya ako.
And so I asked him, what could I do for him?
So nagtanong ako.
After service, the pastor invited us to have lunch with him. We had a delicious meal of fish, rice, and fruit. A couple of weeks later, there was a large fire that came right up to the edge of the Bajau church. 30 families and about 80 people lost everything that they had. But miraculously, not one life was lost. We went to speak to the leaders to see if the school and the students could do anything to help. What? Hey, what? A large church in the area, Christ for All Nations, where our national director attended, asked me if I would come and preach some Sunday evening. I spoke on Isaiah 58, sharing that God's true fast is to do His working, including to go into all nations with the gospel. Later we went on up about an hour away from Davao City North to a tribal school. Has some beautiful scenery on the way. Here's the church that we had the school at. This lady made some hotcakes for us, cooked over an open fire, and they were delicious. Just cut them up and sprinkled powdered sugar on them.
Isulob ninyo ang armadura nga gihatag sa Dios kaninyo
aron makasukol kamo batok sa mga limpong sayawa.
Most of the students went home and changed clothes so they could have their picture taken here. Late November, we moved up to Baguio City of about 450,000. You can see it gets quite crowded sometimes in the streets. Just a small city. This gentleman is a beggar on the street that we're trying to save money to buy him another wheelchair. His broke down. We get around in jeepneys. And you can see they're compact and quite colorful sometimes. Beautiful view scenery from on top of the mountains. This is from on top of the railing of the big white building going across the valley from our house. Panning around, looking, our house is straight back to over there, all the way back across Balakbak. So far we visited several churches here in Baguio City. The first being New Hope Baptist in Balakbak. The pastor here is a Korean missionary. Started the church about 14 years ago. Very friendly church, right down the street from us, about a half a mile. He's also the first pastor to allow us to come and to preach. We visited him a couple times. Then we visited Assembly of God Church here. We're probably going to go there. This Baptist church has a lot of talent there.
No. Okay, only that one. Joan and McQueen all changed, my life changed, and my brain.
This is a church in La Trinidad. We went with Pastor Hadoka. He was speaking at a pastor's conference. They were all from tribal churches up in the mountains, about 6 hours from Baguio. This is an outreach we went to La Trinidad with Pastor Hadoka's church a few Sundays ago. It's about an hour's drive down the mountain into the lowlands. Had to walk back to get to the church. It's a fairly new church. It's a mission church they started. You see it's fairly new. The building's not even finished yet, but they're a great bunch of people. Most of them didn't speak a whole lot of English. Joan and I were able to get up and share our vision for the area, telling about the Bible schools that we're going to start and how we work through the churches and raise up the leadership through their churches. And they were very excited, really glad to hear about us coming and ministering, teaching them how to be missionaries and